It's Thursday night. All ye critters, come join us. It's time to continue our plan. There is magic and mystery from darkness. Our friendship will rise. But one thing's for sure, we never give up on the fight. Oh, get ready. It's Thursday night.
So, last we left off, Bell's Hells had made their trek northward from the large city of Drusar to handle a couple of elements. One, following a thread of the unfortunate murder of the Loomis twins that seemed to have a connection to Orem's initial goal in coming to Marquet, as well as following up on a thread from Gianna Hexam to perhaps help some of Ashton's historical baggage. Upon making your way northward for a number of days, you had some interesting encounters, some dangerous encounters, and eventually came to the town of Heartmoor Hamlet. Went ahead and went towards the estate that is known as the Twilight Mirror Museum. Met the the glorious Mr. Evon Hytroga, and announced yourselves as one of the two chosen groups of this particular attempted burglary that you've been asked to do. You've been told to return at midnight the following day, as soon as the other team arrives that have been chosen by one of the other competitive interests, the Mistress Isha Sabanas. After making this conversation, you began to wander back to the town, heading over towards the Blue Herald's Hill, where you knocked on the door of the last known individual to have been with Loomis twins when they were slain, an individual called Estani. As you all began to look around and step through the threshold, seeing the mostly moss-taken townscape around you, this building itself very much being reclaimed by the elements, other than the one piercing metallic device that is prodding through the roof, a unique-looking telescope that itself is pushing from beyond the back end of the building. But as you all kind of step within, Stani closes the door behind and looks over at the rest of you.
Well, if you are here to talk for a bit, would you like a snack or a drink of some kind?
What are we doing here?
So the Loomis twins had, you remember that book that I was looking at the Starpoint Conservatory? I know the name of it.
The Starlight Academy?
Yeah.
Express.
And the pages had been ripped out. Well, it turns out the Loomis twins were the last people that checked the books out. So potentially, he might have their notes. And therefore, the pages. It's a stretch, but
no, you gotta go for
there's
it.
a possibility.
But then it's just all strange, because if they had something to do with this celestial something or another, then maybe your mother was
I don't
involved.
know, like, how is it all connected? Like, why does my mother have anything to do with the things that you're looking up?
I wouldn't think they would. I don't know, it feels like we're all grasping at straws here.
So,
We've come quite a ways. We're here for a few reasons, but the place we'd like to start is we're looking into, unfortunately, the death of two siblings from House Loomis back in Drusar.
I had a feeling. What can I help with? What would you like to know?
Well, I've spoken a bit with Shad Brescio back in the city, and he suggested that you might know more than he. The twins were killed here. Do I have that correct?
We were having a walk and talk through the Herald's Hill Garden, not far from here. It's a place we usually wanted to just have open discussions whenever they visited. It was just so sudden. It was three attackers, dressed in black and grey, masks, cloaks. I could not follow the rapid movements. They're too swift for these old eyes, I'm afraid. Brescio did his best. He is a very brave one, and had been very kind in the times that he'd visited as their protectors. But it was sadly not enough. Both Berlin and Zayar were cut down in seconds. And Brescio lie bleeding and poisoned. 2 killers still standing, fled without a trace. And I wasn't even touched. I obviously was not the target.
What happened to the third attacker?
Brescio managed to cut that one down. Slew it before he himself nearly succumbed to his wounds. The one that was killed, strangely, just kind of discorporated into some sort of a black grey liquid.
You didn't happen to save any of the liquid or anything, did you?
I did not. The investigators of the town went to look into it, but by the time they had arrived and I had gotten help, it seemed to have gone away. Evaporated of some sort. It's a very, very strange.
Might I ask what the Loomis twins were here visiting you for? You said they came often.
They would reach out to me in their later teen years after reading some of my work and became, hesitate to use the word fans, but at least intrigued by some of the things that I had written, and we became friends. Just a couple of years ago, they began to come and visit me, with Brescio, of course, protecting them. They were very kind to this old bag of bones and thoughts. We'd have tea and talk about things astronomical. The research began to focus on the moon of Ill-Omen, specifically. And the twins were rather transfixed on studies surrounding the sudden flares of ruddy light that are occasionally seen and recorded through history from Ruidus.
Ruddy light?
Yes. At certain times, the moon grows bright, without warning. Decades between, sometimes mere months. Some believe, and have long believed, that it is a portent of disaster to come. But many studies seem to find no correlating disaster either. And when children are born under the light of this moon, they are themselves referred to as Ruidus born, and many important, whether for honor or great sorrow, individuals of history have been claimed to have been born under such a ruddy light.
How long ago was the last flare? Do you know?
It's about 2.5 years-ish, I think. There seems to be a growing reoccurrence, and that has begun to instill further interest in funding into the study of Ruidus. So yes, there had been an abnormal record of these Ruidus born, and some that were children that were not even yet due, but under the slight labor suddenly was induced, and people believe that there was some correlation to this. So I've been speaking with the twins about this study for some time, as I touched on it a bit in my youth, and they had intended to trek to Eos to seek something I mentioned to them known as the Omen Archive.
Were you familiar with Professor Kadisha Sumal?
We had some crossover, yes.
The Loomis twins had potentially in their possession when they were attacked some notes from an essay written by Professor Sumal. Do you have any of the papers that they may have left behind? Maybe they shared them with you to discuss?
He thinks to himself for a second and kind of like gets oddly dark and goes,
They themselves had brought their notes with them when they last visited the satchels. They're keeping pouches, and come to think of it, they weren't on the bodies when...
They were stolen.
Yes, I don't know much about this study, this archive, but the children seem to have come across word of it, and it seemed to be something very, very much on their mind the last time we spoke.
Is there a place to maybe see the what am I trying to say? The Ruidus calendar of when those times have happened in history?
There have been thousands of recorded individuals throughout all of recorded Exandrian history that themselves would be considered Ruidus born. And there are many who are very certain that many more have just gone unrecorded. Due to the somewhat stigmatizing opinion in many places in Exandria about those who were born under these flares. Many just refuse to speak about it. But there have been individuals through history who have been born under this moon, and begins just reading through a list of historical figures, pre-calamity, post-calamity. You know this from just your reading and hearsay. It is a circumstance that many people superstitiously think is a negative thing. But scholars instead think at least it means that a person is fated to be important to some degree.
Let's all look up our birthdays.
Yeah.
Negative thing.
Do we have a calendar that we can all look up our birthdays and see if we were Ruidus born?
That information is, from what the twins were telling me, what the Omen archive itself is.
Oh.
At least one of many things.
Excuse me.
To say. Some sort of study that very intentionally is trying to record all existing Ruidus born, and to once and for all, thinks for himself for a second, from what they told me, ascertain the nature of this, whether to dispel the superstition or to truly pinpoint what it means.
Do you think, people that are Ruidus born could possibly, I don't know, have like crazy dreams?
The twins themselves spoke of various signs of Ruidus born themselves, of individuals who have been part of this study that they were researching. Spoken of themselves, premonitions, bad dreams, all sorts of odd psychic phenomenon.
What was the work of yours that they first learned of you?
Well, I began to follow various astral movements in the sky. I was watching as certain celestial movements would come to points of unity. The solstice, even the half solstice, in which many astral bodies would align, the various ley lines of magical energies across Exandria themselves would spike, and at these times would be very important to notify some of the great mages for their own ritualistic purposes. Some of the most powerful protective incantations could only be done during these times. Powerful rites of development and protecting society required specific timing of these unifications. So there was good money to be made. And when I was young, that was my initial drive. But then there were strange I wanted to say inconsistencies, but signs of other places, signs of other worlds, and historical records of visitors and strangers who said they themselves visited from far-off realms. Some thought mad, some thought just odd, and many just vanished without a trace after a brief time on our realm. And, well, I find that positively fascinating. It is one of the most inconsistent elements of our astral net. The red moon. It almost has a life of its own.
Has anyone ever been there?
Not that I'm aware of. No one that would have returned if they had.
Have you ever heard of red storms being connected in any way to Ruidus, or maybe present in some of the dreams and the studies that you heard of?
When night comes, I have a telescope and I can show you.
That would be wonderful.
That sounds amazing.
But yes, to answer your question, from what we can make out at this distance, it is quite a tumultuous place, Ruidus. A barren red moonscape that is continuously bombarded with storm-like winds and storms.
Are you a studier of history as well, or is it just celestial bodies?
Well, I've read a few things here and there, but that was not my specific passion.
Oh, we ran across some ruins out in the jungle before we got here.
Oh,
And I'm gonna pull out part of the ruin that I had chipped off and handed over to him. What did you say it was? It was part of some...
What did I say?
It was part of some
explosion
city.
From
that had fallen from the sky or something?
It's pre-calamity shit.
Yeah.
Pre-calamity.
all right. I certainly know I can get this to Deramon's a friend of mine in the city who himself is an archaeologist of ancient...
Should I take it to him instead? Is that easier?
I can take it to him.
Oh, all right.
Unless you'd prefer, but...
One more question. Did you say that... Just getting info. Did you say that Brescia was poisoned?
Yes, the weapons that were used were coated in some sort of toxin.
and nothing left afterward.
No, unfortunately. Yes.
Stani, would you be able to point us directly where you had a conversation with the twins when you were attacked?
Yes, I can do that. And goes and gets a coat and puts it on. Follow me. And he leads you outside of his homestead. And not terribly far, and you kind of remember clocking this as you were heading to where he lives. There is an open garden here in the center of Blue Herald's Hill. There is a small kind of stream that is kept from an endless source of water that is just kind of nestled into this stone statue formation that looks like a weathered man who is currently holding a pot, pouring it down into the river, and it just continues to flow continuously. It was right as we were turning on this bend, right around here, beyond this wall. And he points out to this walkway that curves around this large tree, and he kind of stops for a second and points up to the tree and says they descended from the boughs above. And cut them down right here. And he points into this normal-looking part of the walkway.
Can you remember what direction they left when they ran away, even vaguely?
He takes a few steps forward and kind of like retraces his placement, turns a bit southward.
Pardon me one moment. Orm is going to flea bounce up into the tree. And see if I can find any.
You do find a gash on a piece of a branch. And you go ahead and look into it, and there is a hint of a dried, a tar-like substance that is kind of embedded in the groove.
I will use one of my knives to cut that away, and I'll cut under the. I'll whittle the wood up to not disturb it.
Good technique.
Oh, yeah.
Away from you.
Plucking it free and careful not to touch it, you glance at it, and it does resemble
Level 5.
a toxin substance you've seen used before.
I'll wrap it in a bit of cloth and keep it.
Okay.
Fern, you wanna come help me look for some gutters to the south?
Let's I will enhance your ability.
Perception? Okay.
I'll give you advantage on perception checks.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Looking for gutters or ways into the sewer system to the south, and we're also going to check out the fountain to see where the water goes, where it comes from, if it feels like the slime could get in and out that way.
Yeah.
Looking at the statue, the source of water is a gentle trickle. It's not like a rushing river. It's just like enough to gently fill this stream that gives a slight kind of comfortable sound of trickling water to the center of this garden space. You get the sense that the water source itself, this kind of stone-carved pot as part of this, has a very, very faint enchantment, where it just kind of gently produces water.
Oh. I'm gonna go over and put my hand in the statue, see if there's anything in there. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a big pot pouring water.
Okay. You reach in, and it is cold water. You reach in, and the pot itself seems to go only about that far before it gets to the stone arm, but your arm kind of can go a lot further than the pot itself.
I'm gonna take the hammer,
It's like a little portal.
and I'm going to take the handle of the hammer, and I'm just gonna keep going, see how far it goes.
It goes to the very head of the hammer before the hammer itself will no longer. It's wider than the pot's.
Oh
exit,
my
so.
god, that is so cool. Okay.
You're like,
What are you doing? What are you
she
being?
just
said zoom.
Frog.
Oh,
I
frog.
I went frog.
okay. Lorna takes
Ribbit
her, a red yarn, and I kind of make a little frog holster for you. You know, a little harness. Ribbit. Lorna shoves the frog in the hole.
So Fern, you are pressed into a cold body of water.
Fuck.
Lightless, with a very faint current. What do?
Let's just keep leaping forward.
There's like a very, very faint bit of just kind of general atmospheric deep blue light. It feels almost like being at the bottom of the ocean looking up, but it's kind of a little bit everywhere to where you have no sense of what's up or down. You see shapes and shadows at your periphery, like there are large land masses or clusters of rock around you, but you're not entirely certain how close or how far they are.
Damn.
And you kind of glance over and you see these two very faint blue lights that are just kind of drifting.
Oh no, no.
Bigger, bigger in your direction.
Turbo.
You're gonna get eaten.
I'm gonna try to just go to the to pull myself
Pull
with
the
the
other
yarn
side.
and just
With
try
your frog
to start
hands?
floop. Yeah, frog hands. Good old frog hands.
All right, you pull.
Let's roll her in.
And I'm using my back legs.
You're kicking. The slack's coming faster, and you kind of start pulling, totter and totter.
Oh, okay.
The two blue lights get larger, and larger,
No.
and larger. You pull and pull and pull before she comes out of it.
What'd you see?
Yeah, I don't know if that's where we need to go.
All right, so before we come back and look through the telescope, is there anything else we need to do about town? For instance, do we need to plan for a heist? Do we need to get heist gear?
I would really.
Places that catch your
Guys,
attention.
You said Loonch?
There's a place referred to as Moss Cobble Wares,
Moss cobble.
Cool.
which looks to be kind of a general all-around store. for tools, materials, and what the average traveler and person who lives here might need. There's also a place called Not Forgotten, which is looks more like an antique knick-knack place.
I'm gonna go there.
Old, kitschy. And there's a place called Witherbow Medicines, which is more of an apothecary.
Oh, cute.
So,
Okay.
Moss Cobble wares. Who else going? Raise your hand. So 3 of you approach. You find a fairly well-worn but dependable-looking general store. You do see a tall, broad, big smile, dark brown skin gentleman with very short hair and a cocked eyebrow looks to you as you walk in and goes, "Hi, can I help you?"
Do you have fishing materials? Do you have like a spool of fishing line?
Yes, we do. We got all types of fishing line. We got fishing poles, we got fishing hooks, we got bobbers, we got sinkers, we got magnets.
Yep. Simon equipment, 4 magnets, fishing spool, 6 hooks, 12 limes, healer's kit, ball bearings.
Wait, were we supposed to get gloves?
Work gloves? Here you go. Throws them on the stack.
I don't know.
Okay, here's your shovel.
We have a shovel.
All right. And who all is going to Witherbow Medicine?
Witherbow is us.
I'm an FCG.
Alrighty. Now this is a little out of the way. It's not quite in the center of the Eaton Square. This is around kind of the northeastern side of the square, and it's nestled between 2 homes. And you can see there is a shack, legitimately just a straight shack that is built about 10-15 feet into this alley. And on the front you see the wooden sign that's a little crooked to one side that says Witherbow Medicines. There is no window, there's just a door. And as you kind of approach and push the door open on the inside, it is a very simple shack. There appears to be 2 stools set in the front. There is a counter. There is a door behind it that itself is closed. And you can see there asleep, there is an older woman with like a deep red skin, kind of a bright graying hair with streaks of black that still exist in it, and these like curled horns that turn upward and forward. This tiefling woman in what looks to be a rather relatively simple looking blouse is just kind of mid-nap.
Excuse me.
Hello?
Sorry.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I was just catching up on some sleep.
Well, that's fine. Everything feels better after a good stasis, right?
Of course, yes. I take it you're to buy. I do have one more of these.
Pulls forward this
what's this? What's
this
you
like
got?
wrapped leather pouch. It looks like it's tightly bound. It almost looks like a small pillow. It's like a slightly square but soft glance leather wrapped with a strap around it. And she picks it up. It has like a bit of a give or a squish to it. This is known as a tanglefoot bag.
I'll buy the Tanglefoot bag.
And our friend who was here before, Hutchin, right? Can you tell us, so we don't double buy, can you tell us what she purchased?
So there was 3 Tanglefoot bags. There were 2 smoke bombs. There was
We're gonna get our asses kicked.
a handful of potions of healing, much like these before you.
Smoke bombs, that's so Hutchin.
There was one, the only one I had, of a vial of gaseous form.
That's so smart. So they can go in small places.
Thank you so much for your help and for helping our friends earlier. Why don't you go back to your nap? Because I think we're all done here. Thank you so much.
I shall. Thank you very much.
I just keep smiling.
Is there anything else people were doing?
Oh, yes, we were going to Not Forgotten.
You're going to Not Forgotten. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you head into what is a very quaint looking older homestead here. It looks like it was a house that's been retrofitted now to be essentially an antique and knick-knack store. I mean, it is empty. There is nobody else in this establishment. And in a rocking chair to the back of the chamber, you can see in the process of knitting themselves an older dwarf woman with sun-scarred skin, and she has this long chin tuft of matching hair that itself is kind of braided down, and you can see occasionally as she's knitting, she has to like knock it out of the way because it keeps getting stuck in her knit. Before she kind of looks up.
Oh, hello. Can I help you?
We are new to town,
We're new to town.
and we're just wondering, this shop just seems so fabulous and
Amazing.
wonderful.
Just so much stuff. And so much of it's so unique.
Oh, well, most of it's handmade.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. You see, we have friends that, we like to play practical jokes. We're very, very big into practical jokes. We like, just poking each other on occasion, something funny. And we're looking for something particularly unusual that, sometimes something that startles, surprises, is interesting.
Certainly. There's a piece in particular that was designed by my trainer before me, who's quite the master of toy making himself. It's me just remembering.
What was his name?
His name was Oatgar.
Oatgar.
Is that true? Sorry.
Yeah, Oatgar or Oakgar?
Oatgar. I'm gonna be honest, he was kind of a cutthroat little dick who almost ruined my business.
Oh!
I just picked up and left out, went to Shapiro Haven, and here's what I do. But his work was good, to say the least.
Well, I'm always excited. Places like this, everything is interesting, but there's always something very special.
You want something spooky?
Yeah. Mess me up.
Okay. All right.
Goes back and opens a box and pulls it out. You see this like marionette that she draws out. And it's kind of hanging a limp in her arms. It's maybe about tip of feet to top of head, about 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet long. And it has this kind of harlequin look to it, but the porcelain face is featureless, just white, except for these wide, eyeless, or eyelidless eyes that just kind of look straight forward. The bells kind of shake.
That was lovely.
She would fucking die.
Oh my!
I mean, this is great. I'm amazed. Do you have anything else that's interesting in this way, either spooky or?
Wearing my arm facing.
That's upsetting.
Perfect, wonderfully upsetting practical joke material, like something that makes noise, something that like flashes, makes light, or like a like a cellophane clown.
Yeah, what about like a Jack in the Box, maybe like a delayed sort of situation?
I could probably find something like that. Got music boxes. We got some Jack in the Who's It like sort of circumstances. I can look into it. Hold on.
Comes back with this this dark stained wooden music box. Looks very simple. She goes ahead and you can see there's a metallic crank on the side. And then lets it go, and it just slowly begins to open. You hear this ding, 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 ding. And as it slowly opens up, you can see like the metallic gears and inner workings of the music box. And there's this kind of smaller, almost obsidian box lid on the inside. And as it opens up and opens up and opens up, the music plays, and the music stops.
It fucking worked.
The lid pops, and you see emerging from it what looks to be a large, like almost cartoonish. After you get past the adrenaline burst, almost like a devil face with these large kind of curved horns that curve outward into the sides. These brightly painted eyes. One's a little bit off to the right, and it just kind of like emerges on a spring and kind of shakes for a second there.
That's lovely.
That's amazing.
I bet that would really do the job.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think we'll take that.
This will be a gold piece.
What is your name again?
So
Zadro Ichtlin.
Oh, some jacks. Do you have any of those like classic jacks games with the ball?
Oh yeah, no, we got some of those. I'm saying one of them is actually no, that's a little dangerous now that you pointed out. Yeah, let me get that for you.
she goes another toy box over here and moves alongside some of these like stuffed animal elements, and then pulls out a box of like spiky metal toy bits.
Man, I love a choking hazard. All right.
That's a silver piece for those.
Silver
there.
piece and thank you.
No, thank you.
We'll be back. That was amazing.
I do have someone that I think will really enjoy meeting.
Okay.
I love this place.
What else would you like to plan before the day is yours? It is starting to get close to sunset.
Maybe we can grab a quick bite to eat.
Little bite.
If we are going by the Sodden Grange Inn, might not hurt to know where our competitors are staying
Oh, yeah,
in
maybe
relation to us.
All right, you want to ask the front desk?
Sure.
Do it.
Hey!
Go ahead.
Right, Dobby.
There goes our face.
Greetings! Some of our friends may have come through here. Silver Dragonborn, tall female furbolg.
Yeah, well, no.
No? Male goblin, a male Qatari, no hair. Very.
Don't think I've seen those folks come through here. It's all right.
Silver Dragonborn, no? No? You know, I was wondering, do you know of anywhere that we might be able to find some food, and I'll slide a gold across the top of the desk? I sure would like to be able to find our friends.
Made it a copper.
I think you might be mistaken. I haven't seen anyone like that, and
Butterfingers! I'll just take this back. Thank you. Thank you for your help so much. It is appreciated. Ta-ta!
Mm-hmm.
Follow me.
Okay.
Staying in this fucking place.
They're staying here.
Hiding something.
Oh, we should read
Well, which is it? I mean, they're definitely here. Or?
Oh yeah, I mean, he was being shady. I don't know why, but you know what that means. We got to clear all of these rooms in the dead of night, kill everybody inside.
Hey?
Detect
Wait to be
thought
sure.
on Dobby.
I'm Dobby. Okay. You catch the surface thoughts of Dobby's brain are not nothing to worry. More just like, there's some competitive forces around here. Well, paid me well enough to keep it alone.
Well, we should protect ourselves at night, for sure, in case they come looking for us. We should also sniff around the hotel, just in case. But for now, we need to go look through a telescope.
Hey, Chet.
Yeah.
There is a store here where Ashton and I went. It's a toy shop. Now, we thought it was an
I'm
antique
sorry?
shop, but it is a toy store. The woman there
Many things
whittles her own wooden toys.
She's a whittler.
Remove the competition. Is that-
Well, no, I'm not saying
Or fall
kill her,
in love.
Chetney. I'm saying you might have a lot in common with her. Maybe you can discuss, I don't know.
What was the name of the store?
Not Forgotten.
Were there? And you said they were hand chiseled.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to stop by.
You head back over to Blue Herald's Ridge, to the outside of the Mosslight Manor, where there waiting for you is Professor Estani once more.
Come on in. It seems the time is right to show you what I wanted to. I think you'll be quite interested to see it.
Leads you inside. The sun at this point has now been set for the better part of an hour or so, and the night sky begins to release the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stars above. There you see Katha itself still moving from one side of the sky, and the red, round Ruidus still visible kind of across the way, itself slowly arcing over time. Takes you back to the observatory chamber and leads you atop the uppermost platform. He gets underneath and does some tweaks, shifts over and turns a large ratchet. And you see it kind of shift a little bit with this heavy kind of screeching. Stops, goes and checks it again, makes some more tweaks. You see it shift a little more closer there.
Perfect. Would like to look.
I'll go first if no one. Oh, unless.
No, go.
Okay, I'm doing it.
You glance through, and you can see now, it's frames a little bit to the right, but you can see the round visage of Ruidus. And you've seen it in the sky, but here you can see there's all manner of unique textures across it. Brighter lines, darker lines. It almost seems to have this kind of soft, reddish glow to it that you've noticed in the sky, but now you can see like bands and differences. There is topography to it. You can see looks almost like crevices and almost like mountain ranges across it. It has it's something more than just a colored sphere. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah, y'all need to do this. This is crazy.
Do you mind?
Make perception check.
See shit all. I see 7.
You see 7.
Orem should take a look. It's so important to him.
Okay, look, Orem.
I don't even have to bend down.
This is the last shot before the clouds begin to overtake the sky. But you peer through and you kind of give some verbal cues to Estani as he begins to shift it until it gets to just the right point and the focus hits. And you can see the same textures. Something else catches your attention. And there's a brief moment where you kind of instinctually kind of inhale. And the first thing you think is, she should see this. Looking over where he had placed it, you see what he had seen. And across some of these details and striations and mountain ranges, it's challenging to kind of understand, because some of it seems almost like it's shifting or moving. What you thought were like static shapes, there's movement to it, and you realize there's storms. There's clouds, red clouds, and the occasional flash.
It's quite beautiful, isn't it?
I back away from the telescope. As far as I can get, actually.
I go over to Imogen. Are you all right?
I see it so often. I didn't believe it actually existed. You know what I mean? Like, to see it when I'm awake is, I don't know what it means.
Well, you said in your dream you're always at your farm, at the ranch.
Yeah.
But the sky.
And then the storm comes in. And why does my mother tell me to run from it? Why did I see Bertrand in it? Why did I see the twins?
As Stani mentioned earlier, that it has beliefs that it can grant powers of prophecy.
What if it is open in some kind of rift into another plane? What if these people aren't actually passing on? What if they're just somewhere else? Why is my mother telling me to run from it?
Perhaps she's in it.
She's in the storm?
I don't know. She just knows that it's to be avoided.
What if she's trapped?
What if she doesn't want you to suffer her fate? I'm just spitballing here, by the way. I don't know.
Do you know anything about the studies that they did on people?
Are you referring to Khadija Samal, you mentioned earlier?
Yes.
Her work was after my time. If this is the same study that you mentioned, something that the Loomis twins mentioned that there was continued research in that direction, but we never got around to discussing it specifically. The day that they passed, they mentioned that they had found something important. They wanted to talk to me about it. And that was when they were taken from us.
Have I ever noticed, I mean, I don't think I would have ever thought about it, but a correlation between where Ruidus is in the sky in conjunction with my dreams? Does that...
I mean, you don't have a photo memory of every single time you've had one of these bad dreams, but they definitely seem to They seem to come more often at certain times of the year and then diminish. Almost a 6-month cycle. Which definitely seems to correlate with the 6-month orbit.
Ooh.
And it is ascending.
Oh no.
Thank you for keeping this old man some company for the past couple of days. It's been a day. It's only been a day.
I guess we can just get to the heist. Is there anything else we gotta do?
We should give Lugna her present.
Just before we go to sleep.
You got me a present.
I'm gonna
We thought of you.
My goodness.
pull out from my, I don't know, my bag that I have definitely on my person.
We all have bags.
Yeah.
Pageantry.
And as I start to pull it out, I use
The
my
anticipation.
telekinesis to move its little head up to look at her.
Oh,
And I have it walk across the room over to her.
Oh my god, she's beautiful.
She doesn't even have a name yet, Lawden.
She has no name.
Talking Tina.
I've seen you in my dreams. She shall be called Sashimi.
Oh,
Sashimi.
Yes.
Pate has a girlfriend.
I make Sashimi give Laudna a hug and look up at her.
Oh, she's so dear.
That's amazing.
Pate just kind of tilts his head. And he looks back at me. And he looks back at Sashimi. And I look at you. I'll save this for later. Thank you.
You went and bought the thing that I was making for Laudna.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. Bought it with your own hands, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't made by an MC.
How do you know?
She didn't claim she was an MC. She did say she knew an MC. What was his name?
Sucker.
Oltger?
Oat Dicker or some such.
Something like that. She said he screwed her over.
Fuck that guy.
Maybe all MCs are bitter old men. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
It's late.
You all right, Chetty?
I need to go to bed.
We've also got this box. Don't you want to see the box?
We gotta focus. We got a heist to do. Oh, God.
The camera
My glasses went in the trash.
next to the ring pond.
Okay. Y'all go to bed?
Yes.
Imogen.
It got red.
No, it's only pink. It's fuchsia. Besides, oh, no.
The image fresh in your mind as you drift off to sleep. That final bit of odd, cold connection with that distant entity in the night sky. You go to sleep trying so hard to think of anything but, focusing on memories, friends, even just nothing. And you feel like you almost succeed. Until suddenly you find yourself once more in that familiar field. You feel your stomach sink. Your horse runs off. The wind picks up. And you almost don't want to turn and look as you hear the crackling of lightning and thunder. What do you do?
What do you want? I take a step forward.
Towards the house?
No.
Towards the storm. The wind is now blasting your face. Around you, you hear the sounds. The wind is battering you. Your eyes, you're having to squint to keep it from blinding you, but you look forward, you take a step into the storm, and as you do, it gets stronger. Colder. What do you do?
Mother. Ron. Why? Where are you?
Run, Imogen. Run.
What does it feel like?
Stronger. Scarier. And standing where you are, the storm begins to overtake the entirety of the sky above you. You glance back now to the farmhouse, and you see it now falls under shadow. What semblance of a blue sky that usually was what drew you to safety is starting to fade. Take another step, and another. Your eyes sting from the wind. All around you is just this landscape of endless black and red. The light begins to darken. You feel alone. And then you're not. Before you, you see a shape, a shadow, standing there. A woman. Strong. Defiant. You see not a face in this outline. Just a figure standing there. And you watch as other outlines step out from behind it. 2, 4, 8. They just stand there. And one at the front. You can't even see it, but you sense a smile. Not comforting. Intent. Focused. Maliceful.
Can I hear its thoughts?
You try and concentrate. It's not quite a mind you're grasping for. You realize as you reach out that there's nobody there. This is just a vision. With a loud crack, the storm consumes you, cold, and traps your body. Darkness takes your sight, your mind, and you wake up.
Oh. Did you have a dream? Are you okay?
I'm not dead.
Wake up, Lana. She had a dream.
You're not alone either.
I remove my hand from her pocket.
Oh my god!
No, I was just checking. I was making sure you were okay.
She get anything?
No.
Grab some water, bring it over.
I went into the storm.
It was terrible and cold, and there were people there, and I don't even know who they were. I couldn't tell who they were, and they were looking at me, and it felt malevolent.
I grab a journal and I immediately start the dream journal. Start writing everything down.
What does it mean that I went into it? What does it mean?
That you're strong?
That didn't feel like my mother in front of me, right? It didn't feel like my mother standing in front of me.
There's an odd calm and comfort to the sound of your mother's voice in the dream that you've had over and over, time and time again. This presence was unfamiliar.
How do you feel physically?
Like I was eaten whole.
I just don't want any of this inflicting upon you in your physical form.
think I'm all right. I just don't want to sleep. That's all.
I'm gonna check her markings.
Good idea.
Okay. Make a medicine check or an investigation check, your choice.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Natural 20. Oh,
Come on now.
interesting. It's extremely faint. But those markings on her skin appear to have just ever so slightly grown.
Ooh.
Ever so slightly, a quarter of an inch. If.
Well, this all seems normal. Yeah. I'm just kidding. They've grown a little bit. I'm sorry. I just was trying to keep you calm, and then I don't. I'm not good at that.
What do you mean they've grown?
Oh, they just sit there a little bit longer. I remember last time they were by this mole. Not that I'm staring at you intently. And then they just grew a little bit more.
Oh my God, you're right. Are you enjoying this path? I don't know. Do you want to?
I love certain elements of it, I do. I think more than anything, I want to know why, where it came from.
I have one question for you. These dreams, how long have you been running from it?
Since they started, which was about a decade now.
Well, Orm looks out the window, up at the moons. Maybe running isn't the answer.
Yeah. It felt like for so long that there wasn't a choice, you know? It was just a given that it happened and I would run, and then I would wake up. It happened and I would get to safety, and then I would wake up. You know?
Sometimes we have to learn the same lesson over and over again before we understand we need to change our track.
Yeah.
I hate that you're alone in there.
I know. I didn't have the stone in my hand this time, did I?
You didn't check to look?
Well, I've written everything down that we've been talking about. We're going to keep a nice record going forward. I'll put a little date next to this. And then, I can probably backtrack a little bit and fill in information before about the previous dreams. And
Maybe each time you can try to do something a little different.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's use some of your yarn.
All right.
I'm going to tie these around.
Are we making friendship bracelets? Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
So when you're in your dream, you can look down and know that you're going to be out of it soon and you'll be back with us.
That's brilliant.
Okay, does that work?
I love that so much. Thank you.
Oh,
All right. Sweet dreams.
good night.
Orm's gonna turn 3 little circles and then curl it on a little pillbug ball in the crook of Fern's knee.
Perfect.
Lovely.
I will just lay there and do third watch with you because I can't break to sleep.
Okay.
And just try to ease Imogen's mind with a little, burlesque routine. And there's no words. I'm just, emoting through a little Muppet dance. This new tryst between sashimi and pate.
Eventually, the sun begins to come up. The morning greets you. Ensure to prepare whatever spells you might need for a heist, whatever you think might be viable.
Speaking of, Remember how I said 100% I could cure you of your blue skin? For sure I can, but maybe tomorrow?
Don't
Is
waste
that
any
okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I think it's gonna bring us luck.
All right. So, as the morning becomes day, is there anything you wished to do in advance, or do we move ahead to later in the day and then midnight for this event?
Yeah, let's move ahead.
Let's get
Move ahead.
I prep all my spells.
Good job. The sun sets. The night comes. You gather your things, distribute your materials, and then about an hour till midnight happens. You gather your supplies and begin to trek out to the Twilight Mirror Museum. The front gates are open, and there you see standing in the front walkway of the courtyard leading to the front of the estate. You see the 2 guards, and there, dressed to the nines, Mr. Evon Hytroga, and what looks to be another grouping of individuals to his left. Ha! Welcome! It seems everybody has arrived, which means the events are at hand. He raises his hands, and these sparkles start spraying magically out of his sleeves. They go about 3 feet. It's really not all that impressive, but it definitely lights up the vicinity. Yeah. So, we have and would like to welcome Hexam's proxies.
Oh, Bell's Hells.
Bell's Hells.
We're plotting for ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
The guards clap. The other team claps.
Bell's Hells.
And as the proxy for Sabanis over here we have, and you watch as Hutchin steps forward and goes, "We are the verdict."
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Sounds like
Guards
a
would clap.
like
No, it's pretty cool. I
It's very
don't know. It's great.
Whatever.
Whatever, they're still.
Fuck that.
Very well.
Bet it took them like 7 weeks to think of that.
So, both teams may enter the abode however they see fit, but be respectful of the other wares and decor, and any damage to my museum that I find unnecessary will lead to immediate forfeiture.
What constitutes as unnecessary damage?
Only one way to find out.
Oh my god.
You are to find and acquire within my vaults a simple lapis earring of the mythic djinn Harudan. The djinn who built and subsequently dissolved his modest kingdom of Taj Najmeh at the behest of a clever beggar who entrapped his logic in an agreement that undid his nation during this age of Arcanum. This earring is known as Wind Folly.
Wind Folly?
It is sealed somewhere within the estate behind me. Sparkling magic sprays out once more behind him to accentuate the line. Do not worry. None of my defenses are fatal, I believe. You have until sunrise to bring this item to my hands. If no one manages to procure the item in question by then, the wager ends in my favor. So, any questions?
What does it look like, this lapis earring? I mean, can you show it to us? How will we know when we find it?
You'll know. All of my objects are identified, tagged, and given cute little bits of information about them. It is a museum.
Oh yeah, are we allowed to engage with the opponent?
Does,
Oh, that is entirely up to you. I mean, look at them. And you glance at the other room, and they're just sitting there kind of like
Listening to us
sharpening,
fucking them up.
their weapons.
Okay. Can we kill them?
We'll try and keep it clean.
Yeah.
We'll try and keep it clean.
Hutchin goes, "Oh, we're going to keep it clean. If you even find us."
To the members of the verdict, may you have a fair fight, and if I invite any of you who wants to say a prayer for all of us to go ahead and do so now, before we embark.
Hutchin kind of steps forward, hand on what looks like some sort of a sword, Kind of resting there?
Oh, that is very kind of you. Not really much the praying sort ourselves.
It's an awkward pause as you all kind of stand there looking at each other across the way.
How far away are the two groups?
Go! And that's where we're going to end the episode tonight.